Question 1. A contractor has DSO of 55 days, days inventory outstanding, DIO, of 30 days, and DPO of 40 days. What is the cash conversion, working capital, cycle? Is it A, 35 days? B, 45 days? C, 65 days? D, 125 days? The correct answer is B. Cash conversion cycle equals DSO plus DIO minus DPO equals 55 plus 30 minus 40 is equal to 45 days. This is how long cash is tied up between paying suppliers and collecting from customers. Shorter cycles reduce the need for working capital. Question 2. A contract has a total contract price of $500,000 and an estimated total cost of $400,000. To date, the contractor has incurred $300,000 in actual cost and billed the owner $360,000. Using the cost-to-cost percentage of completion method, what is the percent complete and the revenue earned to date? Is it A, 60% complete, $300,000 earned? B, 72% complete, $360,000 earned? C, 75% complete, $375,000 earned? D, 80% complete, $400,000 earned? The correct answer is C. Percent complete equals cost incurred divided by estimated total cost equals $300,000 divided by $400,000 equals 75%. Revenue earned equals 75% times $500,000 contract price equals $375,000. Because billings, $360,000, are less than earned revenue, $375,000, the contract is underbilled by $15,000. Question 3. A contractor has earned $400,000 in revenue under percentage of completion accounting, but has billed the customer $450,000 to date. How is this $50,000 difference reported on the balance sheet? Is it A, as a current liability called billings in excess of costs and estimated earnings, overbilling? B, as a current asset called costs and estimated earnings in excess of billings, underbilling? C, as deferred revenue under long-term liabilities? D, as a reduction to accounts receivable? The correct answer is A. When billings exceed earned revenue, the difference is overbilling and is reported as a current liability, billings in excess of costs and estimated earnings, because the contractor effectively owes the customer work for amounts already invoiced. Question 4. Under current IRS rules, which form must a contractor file to report $1,500 paid to an unincorporated independent subcontractor for services performed during the tax year? Is it A, Form 1099 MISC, due February 28? B, Form 1099 NEC, due January 31? C, Form W-2, due January 31? D, Form 1096, due April 15? The correct answer is B. Beginning with 2020 tax year, non-employee compensation of $600 or more is reported on Form 1099 NEC, non-employee compensation, due to both the recipient and the IRS by January 31. Form 1099 MISC is now used for rents, royalties, and other miscellaneous payments. Question 5. Under IRS rules, when does a contractor's payroll tax liability require deposits by electronic funds transfer, EFTPS, rather than by check? Is it A, once the business has more than 10 employees? B, only when the contractor is a corporation? C, when aggregate annual federal tax deposits exceed $200,000? D, whenever the contractor is paid by the federal government? The correct answer is C. IRS regulations require electronic deposit through EFTPS for businesses with more than $200,000 in aggregate annual federal tax deposits in a prior year. Once required, EFTPS use continues even if amounts later drop below the threshold. Question 6. Under Section 530 of the Revenue Act of 1978, Section 530 Safe Harbor, A contractor may continue treating workers as independent contractors for federal employment tax purposes only if which of the following is true? Is it A, the workers each earn less than $600 per year? B, the workers sign a contract waiving employee status? C, the contractor pays them through a separate payroll service? D, the contractor has a reasonable basis for the classification, has consistently treated the workers, and similar workers, as contractors, and has filed all required Form 1099s? The correct answer is D. Section 530 Safe Harbor protects employers from reclassification penalties only if all three prongs are met. 1. Reasonable basis for treating workers as contractors. 2. Substantive consistency in classifying similar workers. And 3. Reporting consistency through timely 1099 filings. Question 7. Under California AB 5, what must a hiring contractor demonstrate to classify a worker as an independent contractor under the ABC test? Is it A, the worker is free from the hirer's control, B, performs work outside the hirer's usual course of business, and C, is customarily engaged in an independently established trade? B, only that the worker signed a 1099 acknowledgement form? C, that the worker provides their own tools and sets their own hours? D, that the worker has earned at least $5,000 per year for 3 years? The correct answer is A. California's ABC test, codified by AB 5, Labor Code Section 2775, requires all three prongs: A freedom from control, B, work outside the usual course of the hirer's business, and C, independently established trade. Failing any prong defaults the worker to employee status, unless an exception applies, in which case the older Borrello multi-factor test may apply. Question 8. California Form DE 542 must be filed by a contractor with the Employment Development Department, EDD, within how many days of paying or contracting with an independent contractor for $600 or more in services? Is it A, 10 days? B, 20 days? C, 30 days? D, 60 days? The correct answer is B. California requires businesses to file the DE 542, Report of Independent Contractors, with the EDD within 20 days of either making payments totaling $600 or more or entering a contract for $600 or more, whichever is earlier. This helps the state enforce child support obligations. Question 9. What is the key difference between IRS Form 941 and Form 944 for payroll tax reporting? Is it A, 941 is for federal income tax, 944 is for state income tax? B, 941 is filed by S corporations, 944 is filed by sole proprietors? C, 941 is filed quarterly, 944 is filed annually by very small employers whose annual payroll tax liability is $1,000 or less, when designated by the IRS. D, 941 is for employees, 944 is for independent contractors? The correct answer is C. Form 941 is the quarterly federal payroll tax return used by most employers. Form 944 is an annual version for the smallest employers, annual employment tax liability of $1,000 or less, and is only available when the IRS notifies the employer in writing that it may use 944 instead of quarterly 941s. Question 10. A contractor purchases a $50,000 piece of equipment that is expected to generate $20,000 of net cash inflow each year. What is the simple payback period? Is it A, 2.0 years? B, 2.5 years? C, 3.0 years? D, 4.0 years? The correct answer is B. Payback period equals initial investment divided by annual net cash inflow equals $50,000 divided by $20,000 equals 2.5 years. Payback ignores time value of money and post-payback cash flows. It is used as a quick liquidity risk screen for capital expenditures. Question 11. A contractor estimated a job at $120,000 in total cost. Actual costs at completion were labor $55,000, estimated $50,000, materials $48,000, estimated $45,000, and equipment $22,000, estimated $25,000. What is the total cost variance, and is it favorable or unfavorable? Is it a $5,000 unfavorable? B. $5,000 favorable? C. $8,000 unfavorable? D. $3,000 favorable? The correct answer is a estimated total equals $50,000 plus $45,000 plus $25,000 equals $120,000. Actual total equals $55,000 plus $48,000 plus $22,000 equals $125,000. Variance equals actual minus estimated equals $125,000 minus $120,000 equals $5,000 over budget, which is unfavorable. Labor and materials overruns more than offset the equipment savings. Question 12. What is the FUTA rate after the standard state credit, and how does it compare to California's state unemployment insurance, SUI, for new employers? Is it a FUTA is 6% on all wages, California SUI is 1.5%. B. FUTA is 0.6% on the first $14,000, California SUI is 6.2%. C. FUTA is 6% on the first $14,000, California SUI is 0.6%. D. FUTA is 0.6% on the first $7,000 of wages after the state credit, California new employer SUI is 3.4% on the first $7,000 of wages? The correct answer is D. Federal unemployment tax, FUTA, is statutorily 6% on the first $7,000 of each employee's wages, but employers in states that pay timely SUI receive a 5.4% credit, leaving an effective FUTA rate of 0.6%. California's SUI new employer rate is 3.4% on the first $7,000. Experience-rated employers can range roughly 1.5% to 6.2%. Question 13. A self-employed contractor pays federal estimated income taxes quarterly. For income earned during a normal calendar year, which set of due dates is correct? Is it A. March 15th, June 15th, September 15th, December 15th? B. April 1st, July 1st, October 1st, January 1st? C. April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th of the following year? D. January 15th, April 15th, July 15th, October 15th? The correct answer is C. Federal estimated tax installments for individuals, including self-employed contractors, are due April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th of the following year, or the next business day if a weekend/holiday. California estimated payments also follow a similar schedule but with different installment percentages. Question 14. A licensed limited liability company, LLC, contractor in California is required to carry a separate liability insurance policy intended to compensate employees and workers injured by the LLC's actions. What is the minimum aggregate amount of this policy? Is it a $50,000? B. $1 million, plus $100,000 per additional employee beyond 5, up to $5 million? C. $250,000 flat regardless of payroll? D. $10,000 per employee? The correct answer is B. Under BNP Section 7071.19, referenced in Section 7065.1 licensing rules for LLCs, an LLC contractor must maintain liability insurance with an aggregate of at least $1 million for licensees with 5 or fewer staff, plus $100,000 per additional employee, up to a $5 million cap. This is in addition to the LLC's $100,000 employee/worker bond. Question 15. An LLC contractor must file a special bond, distinct from the standard $25,000 contractor's license bond, specifically intended to satisfy wage and benefit claims of the LLC's employees. What is the amount of this LLC employee/worker bond? Is it A, $25,000, B, $50,000, C, $100,000, D, $15,000? The correct answer is C. BNP Section 7065.1 requires an LLC applicant or licensee to maintain a separate $100,000 bond for the benefit of its employees damaged by the LLC's failure to pay wages, interest on wages, or fringe benefits. This bond is in addition to the regular $25,000 contractor license bond. Question 16. A qualifier, RMO, leaves a contractor licensee on June 1. By what date must the licensee notify the registrar of the dissociation to avoid automatic suspension of the license? Is it A, within 90 days of the dissociation, by approximately August 30th? B, within 30 days, by July 1st? C, within 1 year, by the following June 1st? D, notification is optional unless the registrar requests it? The correct answer is A. Under BNP Section 7068.2, when a qualifying individual is disassociated from a license, the licensee must notify the registrar in writing within 90 days. Failure to do so or to replace the qualifier within the statutory window subjects the license to automatic suspension. Question 17. Under the substantial supervision requirement, a qualifying individual, RME or RMO, must be responsible for which of the following on behalf of the contractor licensee? Is it A, personally performing all field labor? B, reviewing only the company's marketing materials? C, only signing the original license application? D, exercising direct supervision and control of the licensee's construction operations to secure compliance with the contractor law? The correct answer is D. BNP Section 7068.1 imposes a duty of bona fide or substantial supervision on the qualifier. The qualifier must actively direct and control the day-to-day construction operations of the license, not serve as a paper-only name. Renting out one's license violates this duty and is a separate crime. Question 18. An unlicensed person performs $5,000 of contracting work and is cited by the CSLB for the first time. Under Section 7028.7, what is the maximum administrative civil penalty the registrar may impose for this citation, separate from any criminal prosecution? Is it A, $1,000? B, up to $15,000, treble the unlawful contract amount, capped per statute? C, $200. D, $50,000? The correct answer is B. BNP Section 7028.7 and related sections authorize a civil penalty up to triple the amount of the unlawful contract for unlicensed contracting, with a statutory cap, currently up to $15,000 for unlicensed activity citations. The registrar may issue this citation independently of any criminal misdemeanor charge under Section 7028. Question 19. A contractor obtained his Class C10 license by submitting forged journeyman certifications and a falsified experience affidavit. Once the registrar discovers the fraud, what is the most likely outcome under Section 7106? Is it A, only a written warning since the work performed has been adequate? B, reduction of the bond requirement? C, disciplinary action including suspension or revocation of the license for obtaining the license by fraud or misrepresentation? D, mandatory automatic reinstatement after 6 months? The correct answer is C. BNP Section 7106 makes the procurement of a contractor's license by fraud or misrepresentation grounds for disciplinary action, including license revocation. The remedy is corrective discipline, not a mere warning, because the license itself was obtained illegitimately. Question 20. A general contractor, without obtaining the owner's written consent or any change order, deliberately deviates from the engineer-stamped structural plans by substituting smaller beams. Which statute most directly addresses this as a ground for discipline? Is it A, Section 7110, willful departure from or disregard of plans or specifications? B, Section 7066, fictitious business names? C, Section 7048, minor work exemption? D, Section 7031, recovery of compensation? The correct answer is A. BNP Section 7110 makes it a cause for disciplinary action when a licensee willfully departs from or disregards plans or specifications in a material respect without the consent of the owner or person entitled to have the work performed as agreed. The substitution of smaller beams in defiance of stamped plans falls squarely within this section. Question 21. A subcontractor abandons a project after pouring a defective foundation and refuses to return calls or correct the defects, leaving the owner to hire someone else at greater cost. Which provision most directly supports CSLB discipline? Is it A, Section 7066, DBA rules? B, Section 7113, willful or deliberate disregard or violation of building laws, or failure to complete construction in a workmanlike manner? C, Section 7058.7, Specialty Class Rules? D, Section 7011, Board Composition? The correct answer is B. BNP Section 7113 authorizes discipline for failure to complete a construction project for the contract price, and Section 7109/Section 7113 together cover willful or deliberate disregard of safety, building, or labor laws and substandard workmanship. The fact pattern of abandonment plus defective work fits Section 7113. Question 22. Maria, a sole proprietor licensed contractor, wants to do business under the name Bay Area Premier Builders. What does BNP Section 7066 require regarding this fictitious name? Is it A, she must form an LLC before using any trade name? B, she may use any name without notifying the CSLB? C, she must apply to have the fictitious business name, style, added to her contractor's license with the registrar before contracting under it? D, only corporations need to register fictitious names with the CSLB? The correct answer is C. BNP Section 7066 requires that any name, style, or designation used by a licensee in contracting be reported to and recorded with the registrar on the license. Filing a fictitious business name statement with the county is not a substitute for this CSLB filing. Both may be required. Question 23. Which of the following parties is not a permissible claimant against a contractor's $25,000 license bond under BNP Section 7071.5? Is it A homeowner damaged by the contractor's willful violation of construction laws? B, a material supplier furnishing materials directly to the licensed contractor on a residential job? C, an employee for unpaid wages earned in the course of contracting business? D, a competing contractor seeking lost profit damages for being underbid on a public job? The correct answer is D. BNP Section 7071.5 limits bond claims to specified categories: homeowners injured by violations of the contractor law, persons damaged by failure to complete a construction project, employees for unpaid wages, and certain express trust fund contributions. A competitor's lost profit claim is not a covered category. Question 24. Under Section 7090, which scenario gives the registrar the clearest basis for suspending or revoking a contractor's license? Is it A, the contractor was found, after a hearing, to have violated provisions of the contractor law, the labor code, or the building laws applicable to the work? B, the contractor changed his home address without notifying the post office? C, the contractor decided not to bid on a particular public works project? D, a customer left a critical online review about scheduling delays? The correct answer is A. BNP Section 7090 empowers the registrar to suspend or revoke a license after a hearing upon a finding that the licensee violated any provision of the contractor's state license law or related construction, safety, or labor statutes. Mere negative reviews or bidding choices are not statutory grounds. Question 25. The contractor's state license board itself is composed of members appointed under Section 7011. Which statement best describes its statutory composition? Is it A. It is composed entirely of 7 licensed general contractors? B. It consists of 15 members, a mix of licensed contractors and public/non-industry members, appointed by the Governor, Senate Rules Committee, and Speaker of the Assembly? C. It is appointed solely by the Attorney General and consists of judges. D. Membership is determined by annual election of all licensees? The correct answer is B. Under BNP Section 7011, the CSLB consists of 15 members, a statutory mix of contractor and public, non-industry, members. The Governor appoints most members and the Senate Rules Committee and Speaker of the Assembly each appoint public members. The board is not composed solely of contractors, judges, or elected by licensees. Question 26. Specialty, Class C, license classifications are established under Section 7058.7 and board regulations. Which of the following is the best description of what a C specialty license authorizes? Is it A. It authorizes any construction work the licensee feels qualified to perform? B. It is interchangeable with a Class A engineering license? C. It authorizes only work in the craft or trade for which the licensee is classified, and incidental and supplemental work to that classification? D. It authorizes only work valued under $500 regardless of trade? The correct answer is C. BNP Section 7058 and Section 7058.7, with board regulations, define each specialty, Class C, classification narrowly. The licensee is authorized only to perform work within that craft or trade and any work that is incidental and supplemental to it. Performing work outside one's classification is grounds for discipline. Question 27. An unlicensed person posts online ads offering kitchen remodel services for $20,000 and lists a fake license number. Which 2 distinct statutes most directly apply, and how do they differ? Is it A. Only Section 7031 applies, and it bars recovery of compensation? B. Only Section 7068 applies, and it requires a qualifier? C. Section 7066, DBA, and Section 7011, Board Composition, both procedural? D. Section 7028.16 makes it unlawful for an unlicensed person to advertise contracting services, while Section 7027.1 separately governs misleading advertising and license number disclosure by licensees and unlicenses? The correct answer is D. BNP Section 7028.16 specifically targets unlicensed persons who advertise as contractors, whereas Section 7027.1 governs misleading advertising and the obligation of any person, licensed or not, to disclose license status accurately. The 2 operate together to capture both the act of advertising without a license and any deceptive content. Question 28. A subcontractor signs a conditional waiver and release on progress payment under Civil Code Section 8132 in exchange for a check that later bounces. What is the legal effect on the waiver? Is it A. The waiver is fully enforceable because it was signed in writing? B. The waiver does not become effective until the check is actually honored by the bank? C. The waiver is automatically converted to an unconditional waiver after 30 days? D. The waiver is enforceable but the subcontractor may sue separately for the bounced check? The correct answer is B. A conditional waiver under Civil Code Section 8132 only becomes effective when there is evidence of actual payment, meaning the check clears the bank. If payment fails, the waiver has no legal force and the subcontractor retains full lien rights. Question 29. A prime contractor's subcontract requires the subcontractor to indemnify the prime for all claims, including those arising from the prime's sole negligence. Under Civil Code Section 2782, this broad-form indemnity provision is it A, enforceable if signed by a licensed subcontractor? B, enforceable only on public works projects? C, void and unenforceable as against public policy? D, enforceable only when the subcontract is over $50,000? The correct answer is C. Civil Code Section 2782 voids any construction contract clause that purports to indemnify a party for liability caused by its sole negligence or willful misconduct. This anti-broad form indemnity rule cannot be waived. Question 30. A homeowner verbally asks the contractor to upgrade tile during a bathroom remodel. The contractor proceeds without a written change order. Under BNP Section 7159(j), the contractor's ability to collect the extra $3,200 is it A, at risk because every change order must be in writing, signed by both parties, and attached to the contract? B, guaranteed if the contractor documents the change in a daily log? C, guaranteed because verbal change orders are valid up to $5,000. D, at risk only if the homeowner files a CSLB complaint? The correct answer is A. Under BNP Section 7159(j), any change to a home improvement contract must be in writing, signed by both the contractor and the owner, and incorporated into the contract. Verbal change orders are unenforceable as home improvement contract modifications. Question 31. An owner records a valid notice of completion 12 days after actual completion of the work under Civil Code Section 8182. What is the effect on the time direct contractors have to record a mechanic's lien? Is it A, direct contractors have 90 days from the recording of the notice of completion? B, direct contractors lose all lien rights immediately upon recording? C, direct contractors have 30 days because the notice was not recorded within 15 days. D, the notice of completion is invalid because it must be recorded within 15 days after actual completion? The correct answer is D. Under Civil Code Section 8182, a notice of completion must be recorded within 15 days after actual completion. A notice recorded after the 15-day window has no effect on shortening lien deadlines, so the standard 90-day from completion deadline applies. Question 32. On a private works project, when a valid notice of completion is timely recorded, a direct, prime, contractor must record its mechanic's lien within how many days under Civil Code Section 8412? Is it A, 30 days? B, 60 days? C, 90 days? D, 120 days? The correct answer is B. Under Civil Code Section 8412, a direct contractor has 60 days after recording of a notice of completion or notice of cessation to record a mechanic's lien. Without such a notice, the period is 90 days after actual completion. Question 33. A drywall subcontractor on a private works project finished its scope on March 1. No notice of completion has been recorded. Under Civil Code Section 8414, the latest date the subcontractor may record a mechanic's lien is approximately, is it A, March 31, 30 days after its own completion? B, April 30, 60 days after its own completion? C, May 30, 90 days after actual completion of the project? D, August 29, 180 days after its own completion? The correct answer is C. Under Civil Code Section 8414, when no notice of completion or cessation is recorded, a non-direct claimant, subcontractor or supplier, has 90 days after actual completion of the work of improvement to record its lien. If a notice were recorded, the period would shorten to 30 days for subcontractors. Question 34. Work on a private project ceases for 35 continuous days due to a financing dispute. The owner records a notice of cessation under Civil Code Section 8174. What is the effect on subcontractor lien deadlines? Is it A? Subcontractors must record liens within 30 days after the notice of cessation is recorded. B. Subcontractors must record liens within 90 days after the notice of cessation is recorded. C. The notice of cessation is invalid because work must cease for at least 60 days. D. The notice of cessation has no effect on subcontractor lien rights. The correct answer is A. A notice of cessation under Civil Code Section 8174 can be recorded after work has ceased for at least 30 continuous days. When validly recorded, it shortens the subcontractor and supplier lien deadline to 30 days from recording, the same effect as a notice of completion. Question 35. A consumer home improvement contract includes a clause forcing the homeowner to pay all of the contractor's attorney fees in any dispute, while barring the homeowner from recovering her own. Under Civil Code Section 1670.5, a court reviewing this provision may, is it A, enforce the clause because both parties signed? B, refuse to enforce the clause, limit its application, or strike it as unconscionable? C, award triple damages to the homeowner automatically? D, refer the matter to the CSLB for mandatory arbitration? The correct answer is B. Civil Code Section 1670.5 authorizes a court to refuse enforcement of an unconscionable contract or any unconscionable clause, or to limit its application, to avoid an unconscionable result. One-sided fee shifting in a consumer contract is a classic example. Question 36. A general contractor receives a joint check made payable to both the subcontractor and its material supplier. Best practice in California is for the GC to, is it A, endorse the check and deposit it into the GC's own account first? B, deliver the check directly to the supplier and ignore the subcontractor? C, obtain a joint check agreement up front allocating the funds and require lien waivers from both payees before release? D, cash the check and pay each party in proportion to the GC's discretion? The correct answer is C. A joint check agreement protects all three parties. The GC ensures the supplier is paid, reducing lien risk, the supplier confirms receipt, and the subcontractor receives credit. Conditional lien waivers under Civil Section 8132 should be exchanged for the joint check before endorsement. Question 37. A prime contractor receives a $200,000 progress payment from the owner. The subcontract calls for $40,000 to a plumbing sub for completed work that was approved in the payment. Under BNP Section 7108.5, the prime must pay the sub within how many days of receipt? Is it A, within 30 days? B, within 21 days? C, within 15 business days? D, within 7 days, or face a 2% per month penalty? The correct answer is D. BNP Section 7108.5 requires a prime contractor to pay each subcontractor its proportionate share of any progress payment within 7 days of receipt from the owner. Wrongful withholding may trigger a 2% per month penalty plus attorney fees. Question 38. A subcontractor on a private project completes its work and the prime contractor withholds 10% retention. The owner has accepted the project and released all retention to the prime. Under BNP Section 7107, the prime must release the sub's retention within how many days? Is it A, within 10 days of receipt from the owner? B, within 30 days of receipt from the owner? C, within 60 days of subcontractor completion? D, only after final acceptance by all subcontractors? The correct answer is at BNP Section 7107 requires that a prime contractor release any retention proceeds withheld from a subcontractor within 10 days after receipt of the retention from the owner. Wrongful withholding triggers a 2% per month penalty and possible attorney fees. Question 39. A home improvement contract has a total contract price of $48,000. Under BNP Section 7159(d), the maximum down payment the contractor may demand or accept before any work or material delivery is it A, $2,500. B. $1,000. C. $4,800, 10% of contract. D. $5,000 or 10%, whichever is greater. The correct answer is B. BNP Section 7159(d) caps the down payment on a home improvement contract at the lesser of $1,000 or 10% of the contract price, exclusive of finance charges. Here 10% would be $4,800, so the lesser amount of $1,000 controls. Question 40. A consumer signs a home solicitation contract for solar panel installation at her residence on a Tuesday at 6 p.m. Under Civil Code Section 1689.5e to seek, she may cancel without penalty until midnight on, is it A. Wednesday, next day? B. Thursday, 48 hours later? C. Friday, the third business day after signing? D. Tuesday of the following week, 7 calendar days later? The correct answer is C. Civil Code Section 1689.5e to seek. The Home Solicitation Sales Act gives the buyer the right to cancel a home solicitation contract until midnight of the third business day after signing. Counting Tuesday signing, WED equals 1, Thursday equals 2, Friday equals 3. Question 41. A contractor wishes to collect progress payments on a home improvement contract. Under BNP Section 7159.5, each progress payment must, is it A, equal exactly 10% of the contract regardless of work completed? B, be payable upon material delivery regardless of installation? C, be paid in cash to avoid bank delays? D, not exceed the value of work performed and materials delivered to the site? The correct answer is D. BNP Section 7159.5 prohibits front-loading. Progress payments may not exceed the value of work performed and materials actually delivered to the job site. Demanding payment in excess of work completed is a violation of contractor licensing law. Question 42. A commercial construction contract has a liquidated damages clause of $2,500 per day for late completion. Under Civil Code Section 1671(b), this clause is presumed, is it A, valid unless the party seeking to invalidate it proves the amount is unreasonable under circumstances existing at contract formation? B, void as a penalty unless equal to actual daily damages? C, valid only if it appears in 14-point bold type? D, void unless approved in advance by the CSLB? The correct answer is A. Civil Code Section 1671(b) presumes liquidated damages clauses in non-consumer contracts to be valid. The burden is on the party challenging them to prove unreasonableness measured as of the time of contracting. Consumer contracts under Section 1671(d) are treated more strictly. Question 43. A residential construction contract over $500 contains a mandatory arbitration clause. Under BNP Section 7191, that clause must, is it A, be located in the signature section only? B, appear in at least 8-point bold, capitalized type, with a separately initialed disclosure that the owner is waiving the right to a jury trial? C, be approved by the CSLB before use? D, be void in all residential contracts? The correct answer is B. BNP Section 7191 requires that arbitration clauses in residential construction contracts include a specific disclosure in at least 8-point bold capital type, and that the owner separately initial the provision to waive the right to jury trial. Question 44. A homeowner contracts with a Class B contractor to build a new single-family home for $425,000. Under BNP Section 7164, residential new construction, the contract must include, is it A, an arbitration clause? B, a 30-day rescission period? C, a schedule of payments showing the amount of each payment as a sum in dollars and cents and a description of the work or services to be performed and materials to be provided? D, a liquidated damages amount no greater than $500 per day? The correct answer is C. BNP Section 7164 governs contracts for new residential construction. Among other items, the contract must include a payment schedule with each payment expressed in dollars and cents and tied to specific work/services or materials to be furnished. Question 45. A new single-family home built in 2022 develops water intrusion at exterior windows in 2025. Under Civil Code Section 896, SB 800/Right to Repair Act, the homeowner's primary remedy is it A, immediately file a lawsuit for breach of contract. B, file a mechanic's lien against the builder. C, report the builder to the CSLB before any other action. D, serve a pre-litigation claim notice on the builder and allow the statutory inspection and repair process before filing suit. The correct answer is D, Civil Code Section 896 and Section 910E to seek. SB 800, require a homeowner with a covered construction defect to first serve written notice on the builder and allow the statutory inspection and repair process. Direct litigation is generally barred until that process is complete or waived. Question 46. A subcontract contains a flow-down clause stating the sub assumes toward the prime all obligations the prime owes the owner under the prime contract. The effect of this clause is that the subcontractor, is it A, is bound to the prime by the same scope, schedule, and quality terms the prime owes the owner, to the extent applicable to the sub's work. B, becomes a direct party to the prime contract with the owner. C, may sue the owner directly for non-payment. D, is released from any contract provisions not specifically repeated in the subcontract. The correct answer is a flow-down, or pass-through. Clauses incorporate the prime contract obligations into the subcontract to the extent they apply to the sub's scope. They do not create privity between sub and owner, but they do bind the sub to schedule, quality, indemnity, and dispute resolution terms of the upstream contract. Question 47. A subcontract requires the sub to name the prime contractor and owner as additional insureds on the sub's commercial general liability policy and to provide a waiver of subrogation. The primary purpose of the waiver of subrogation is to, is it A, increase the policy limits available to the prime. B, prevent the sub's insurer from suing the prime to recover what it paid out on a covered loss caused by the prime. C, allow the sub to be released from indemnity obligations. D, require the prime to pay the sub's premium? The correct answer is B. A waiver of subrogation prevents the insurance carrier, after paying a loss, from stepping into the insured's shoes and pursuing the prime, or owner, for reimbursement. Combined with additional insured status, it shifts risk fully to the sub's carrier without circular litigation. Question 48. Before a contractor can implement a 4-day, 10-hour alternative workweek schedule without paying daily overtime, what employee approval is required? Is it a written agreement signed individually by each affected employee? B, approval from a simple majority of the company's owners. C, secret ballot election with at least 2/3 approval by the affected work unit. D, notice to employees at least 30 days before the schedule begins? The correct answer is C. Under Labor Code Section 511, an alternative workweek schedule, e.g., April 10th, must be approved in a secret ballot election by at least 2/3 of the affected work unit. Notice, posting, and DIR reporting are required, but individual signatures or owner approval do not satisfy the statute. Question 49. A laborer reports to a job site as scheduled but is sent home after only 1 hour because of a delivery delay. Under IWC Wage Order 16's reporting time pay rule, what is the minimum the contractor must pay for that day? Is it A, only the 1 hour actually worked? B, half the scheduled day, but not less than 2 hours and not more than 4 hours at the regular rate? C, a full 8 hours at the regular rate? D, nothing additional, because the employee was paid for time worked? The correct answer is B. Wage Order 16 Section 5 requires that when an employee reports as scheduled and is furnished less than half the usual day's work, the employer must pay for half the scheduled hours, with a minimum of 2 hours and a maximum of 4 hours at the regular rate. Question 50. An employee works 4 hours in the morning, has a 3-hour unpaid break, and returns to work 4 more hours in the evening. The state minimum wage is $16 per hour and the employee earns $20 per hour. How much split shift premium is owed? Is it a 1 hour at the state minimum wage, $16? B. 1 hour at the employee's regular rate, $20? C. 3 hours at the minimum wage for the unpaid gap? D. Nothing, because the employee earns more than minimum wage? The correct answer is A. When a non-exempt employee works a split shift, a schedule interrupted by a non-paid, non-working period other than a meal, 1 additional hour of pay at the state minimum wage is owed. The premium is paid at minimum wage, not the employee's higher rate, and even employees paid above minimum wage are still owed the premium so long as their wages for the day do not already exceed minimum wage times hours worked plus 1.